Our research shows that the affordable housing crisis for the lowest income people is pervasive. It impacts every community across the country, from urban to rural to suburban, every state, every congressional district, red states, blue states. It's a bipartisan issue.
Based on where I live, which is in Clarksville, Tennessee, we need more affordable housing. We do not have enough housing stock. With a voucher program that's going on Section 8, we want good quality homes for people to move in, and that's something we do not have.
We need more of all housing, but particularly affordable housing in this country. Housing is essentially one of the basic necessities of life. Without a place to live, without shelter, whether it's rental, whether it's homeowner, it's very hard to do a number of other things in life, such as have a job and have a stable family life. So housing really is the foundation upon which so many other things are built.
As a pediatrician, I am really seeing how the affordable housing crisis is playing out on the bodies of my patients. So often when I'm trying to treat a child for developmental delay or for growth delay or other things, that's really just the symptom of the disease. The underlying disease is really the lack of affordable housing.
The good news is we don't lack solutions. There are a number of proven, effective programs that were created precisely to meet this need. The National Housing Trust Fund program is a good example. The Section 8 voucher program is another highly successful, proven program that helps the poorest families pay their rent on the private market.
About 10 years ago, I started thinking about a stable, decent home that you could afford could be like a vaccine. It keeps you healthy now and in the future. The reason for that, in our research at Children's Health Watch, we looked at a vulnerable subgroup, families that were food insecure. And we looked at those that received housing subsidies versus those that were eligible but not able to receive them. The kids in the families that were food insecure but getting the housing subsidy were twofold less likely to be stunted in their growth because they had that protection from the housing subsidy.
In the United States, we spend about $200 billion a year to help Americans buy and rent their homes. And the bulk of these resources, a full 3/4 of it, goes to subsidize higher income homeowners, almost all of whom would be stably housed without the government's help.
To get the mortgage introduction, you have to itemize, and most taxpayers actually do not itemize. Even about half of homeowners who don't itemize. So first of all, the majority of taxpayers don't get the mortgage introduction at all. Now, because the value of the mortgage introduction is tied to the value of the mortgage, which of course is tied to the value of the home, it's heavily concentrated on the high end. So the wealthiest homeowners get the predominant amount of the mortgage introduction.
I'm a survivor of Hurricane Katrina 2005 back in New Orleans, Louisiana. I made up my mind that I was going to start saving after I lived in an apartment for 10 years. So what I did was I saved up for the last 2 years. And I said, I'm going to own myself a home. And that's what I did. We're homeowners. So why do the wealthier gets the big tax break and I don't get it? Why? We're one, homeowners.
It's important to keep in mind that many offer the mortgage introduction. It was an encouragement for home ownership, but really it's an encouragement for home debt, which is something very different than ownership. We've also found that in housing markets there's very tight supply. The mortgage introduction will allow borrowers to bid up the price of a house, and ultimately it ends up being a subsidy to the seller, not to the buyer, because the price is raised.
So there's a few modest reforms to the mortgage interest deduction that can make a big improvement in the lives of low and moderate income homeowners and allow for significant investment in rental housing programs that serve the lowest income people. So specifically, the changes that we call for through the United for Homes campaign are, one, to lower the size of a mortgage on which you can deduct your interest from $1 million down to $500,000. The other change is to adjust from a deduction to a non-refundable capped credit.
If I can tell the people of Congress that affordable housing is so much needed in the community, within neighborhoods, within the communities,